record and ladies and gentlemen, let's not take too much time waiting. If there is anyone who still wants to join, they will join while we're progressing. This train, as I always say, is moving. Whether you are in or you are out, we're not waiting. The train is moving, so Ikibeli staff. May I request that we all make sure that our mics are muted so that we don't get feedback. So today you must decide. It's either going to be one day for you. You say to yourself, whatever you learn today, one day you will implement it. Or you say to yourself, today is day one. I'm coming here, I will open up my mind and assimilate everything that I learn and I implement it, which means today is day one. Now there's a lot of people in this call. You might decide that one day you will do something about it. Other people are going to do something about it today. Today for them is going to be day one. It's your decision. Now I welcome you, and I want to say to you, thank you for waking up and joining us. You see, the time that you're spending with us today, you will never get it back. The time that Naba is gonna be spending with us today, he will never get it back. Same with me, I will never get back the time. The money that I lost and the money that we all lost by being in this call, we can always make it up, but the time will never get it back. So it is for everyone's best interest that since you are here, you make sure you are fully present. You get the information, you implement it. Secondly, I want to thank you for coming through, and I've already thanked Mr. Manana for giving us his time, and most importantly, his knowledge, because he's not just sharing with us his time, but he's sharing with us something that will never be taken away from us, which is his knowledge. It's just up to us to implement what he's going to tell us. So our agenda is we're going to talk a bit about Ekasi properties. Then we're going to give it to Mr. Manana to share with us his investment strategy, his history, how he started, and what makes him stay there. That's mainly why that's mainly what I want to know from him. Why does he stay there? Because he's got access to many things. He's got lots of wealth of knowledge in the property sector, but why the inner city? And then we're going to talk about what's coming next. And then we close and go and have our weekends be like anybody else. And obviously everybody else doesn't know that we have invested about an hour to 2 hours of our time today. So when you come here, bring your open mind. Anything that is said today, don't block it out. Don't say that's never possible. Don't say that never possible for you. There's someone who's in the kitchen, they are making tea. Please just make sure that you mute yourself. I think it's Tenji. Tenji, please mute yourself. Let me see if I can mute you. And everybody else, please just make sure that you are muted. So I was saying, anything that is said to you today, don't block it out, but rather ask yourself a question, how can I make this happen? Because if someone is saying they do it, then it means it's possible for it to be done. So just ask yourself how you can make it happen. Secondly, and I've emphasized on this, please apply what you learn, because otherwise the knowledge that you get today is wasted. Be fully present. It's just 1 hour, 1.5 hours of your time that you are investing today. So please be fully present. Don't do anything else but focus on what is being discussed. Number 4, please contribute. After the presentation, we're going to open up for questions. Bring all your property questions. Don't just limit to what Ungaba is going to present today. Like I said to you, he's got wealth of knowledge in the property sector. So ask him anything. Ask him about your commercial properties, ask him about your Ekasi properties, ask him about your inner city, and everything that's related to properties. He's got wealth of knowledge, so he should be able to assist. Now, for those that are new in the call, my name, as you would have known, Dumison Konzo, and that's what I do. I'm a property investor. I'm a trained accountant. I'm a Toastmaster. Toastmasters is a public speaking organization. They build leadership and leaders and communicators. I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, and I'm a property coach. Those are my contact numbers. Now, why did I start this project, Ekasi Properties? For a simple reason that I wanted to create, to expose our people in terms of how they create wealth, and also to basically break the cycle of scarcity. When we're talking about breaking the cycle of scarcity in our logo, we're not just speaking about scarcity of money. We're speaking about scarcity of information, scarcity of money, scarcity of knowledge, and everything else that's scarce. We just trying to break that cycle. As you would see in our logo, this logo represents me, it represents you, and it represents anyone that's got a background just like mine. The blue represents the fact that anything is possible. The sky is the limit. This is where my ancestors, this is where your ancestors were, or they started. And then from there, we start creating wealth. And in our creation of wealth, we must turn things around. As we're turning things around, things start getting better. We start investing. We do everything that's necessary for us to create wealth, and we start rising up. Now, as we rise, we must never forget others. That's why you have that bit of something that looks like it's a peg, so that you can clip others and fly with them as you rise up. That's why I always ask you to share the information that we give out in these sessions. Now, we do all of this through property investing. So property investing is a vehicle that we use to build wealth. Now we've got social media platforms, which is our YouTube. So if you have not subscribed to our YouTube, please do it now. As I speak, take off your cell phone and quickly go to search for Ekasi Properties, look out for the logo, and then click subscribe. Because that's where we place all of these, that's where we share all of these sessions that we have. Also join our Facebook group if you're not there. And we also have a Facebook page. We save the same thing as a group. And then most importantly, we have a WhatsApp group where we share all our events. And then there's this thing that we're doing today, which is Ekasi Roundtables. The purpose of Ekasi Roundtables is not to teach you to be an expert investor, but rather the purpose of the roundtable is for you to get awareness in terms of what's going on out there. You can sit in your house or in your corner and believe that you know what's going on. And maybe it's enough for you, but there's a whole lot of things that is going on out there. That's why I invite guests. That's why I don't do these roundtables myself, because my knowledge as well is limited. That's why I invite guests to come here and share with us their experience. Now, you would have seen the kind of people that we had beginning of January. for those that were here, they know what the information that was shared. For those that were not here, go to our YouTube channel, you'll get the information, but you can also just let me know if you want any session specifically. Then I will share them with you. Last year, we've had many sessions, but I just decided to share those 4 that we had there with Euphonic and Palisa and Vangile, who came up with different perspectives. Basically, I think Palisa came up with stock files, and there's many people that have since joined their stock files. And then we had Busi the last session we had came up with a different perspective in terms of how we can change our mindset to achieve money. The most important, we've got lots of success stories from these roundtables. There's people that started, they've been wanting to get into properties, but they never really knew how to, or they did not have that thing that says, let me go take action. Last year, they started attending these roundtables. They own 1 or 2 properties today, or they're in the process of owning a property today. But there's a partnership that we have with EDPF. I'm not going to go into details about that partnership, but I can tell you that this is one of the things that I'm proud of, because without these roundtables, there would not have been this partnership with EDPF. There's a lot of people that used to attend these roundtables. They've upgraded now, they've upgraded and they are with EDPF. And some of them, they still come and attend because, like I said, and this is what Nigel as well always says, that the knowledge that we all have is limited. You need to be out there to know what's going on. Now, all you need to do is to be here for 1.5 hours on a Saturday, spend that time, then you are exposed of what is going on. Now, we move on to the business of the day. Mr. Manana, he didn't know that I've got his, I went to dig his past and his CV. I just thought I will share with you the kinds of things that he has done. He's been all over the property sector. If you can read, please read. I'm not going to talk to it. But he's been all over the property sector. He's worked with big property managers and property companies. He's worked into development in the commercial space and all of that. But as you know, today, we asked him to come through as an inner city investor. I don't know if he remembers this picture that was taken at the Sapin event. That's him there. That's Nigel. You probably know this guy. And then that's Masishaba. And then that's, what's his name? Mr. Kunguluza, Lebu Kunguluza. So one day my dream is that I'm going to have all of these people in this picture. Nigel is already our resident mentor. We're gonna find a space for Mr. Manana and also abuse him to keep, so that he can keep on coming and sharing his knowledge with us. And then one day we're gonna have the dragon, Mr. Kunguluza. And then hopefully we can have Masishaba as well to come and share with us in terms of a journey of where he is. But yeah, that's the dream. So, Mr. Manana, thank you again for coming through. We really appreciate your time. But most importantly, we're really appreciative of the knowledge that you're going to share with us today. We in no way take it for granted. We know that you had to leave things that you were supposed to do, but you decided to spend your time with us today. We humbly grateful for your time. Yes, sir, yeah. So you may start sharing with us in terms of what you have for us. Dish out our breakfast.
Thanks so much, Ndumiso. I didn't know that you're such a stalker. You've displayed some information there that I've even forgotten about. I remember that picture very well. That was a while ago. It was a great evening though. Yeah, thank you for inviting me to come here and to share my knowledge. I am hoping that everyone is going to benefit something and they're going to take something out of this presentation. I'm not big then on slides and all that. I prefer to talk from, and you'll get to experience the real me and get to understand where I come from and where I'm planning to go. Let's see. Just a little bit on my, just to get a sense firstly before I go on, who's in the room so that I know where to pitch this. Are there any property investors in the room, or is all property wannabe?
No, Ngabente.
Yes.
Yes, it's a mixture, my brother. It's a mixture of wannabes and current property investors.
Okay.
Yeah, myself, Kanya, I'm an existing property investor, but the reason why I joined this group and what Dumiso is doing is to continue learning from others.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask it like this? Is there anybody who's got more than 5 properties in a house, in a room? No one? More than 10?
No, my brother, myself, I've got more than 5, but not more than 10.
Not more than 10. Is there anyone who's got more than 10? Okay.
Don't be shy. Come out. If you've got more than 10, don't be shy. Come
you
out.
can
Let's hear it.
You can just raise a hand. You don't have to. You don't have to say it. Just raise a hand. You don't need to be shy about these things, guys. You need to push and push and push and succeed and create more and more. Okay, it's fine. That helps me in terms of gauging how to pitch my presentation. Let me start with my background then. I'm from Newcastle, born and bred in Newcastle. Studied at University of Natal and finished my degree at UNISA. And then I'm a qualified chartered accountant. So I started working at Atandasin, and then from there I moved to SARS, because I was bored with what I was doing as an auditor. From SARS, I thoroughly enjoyed my time at SARS, which was 2.5 years. I was my leader there was Pravin Gordon, the current minister, but I was put off by the bureaucracy there, So a lot of bureaucracy, although we're doing a great job adding value, but there's a lot of bureaucracy. Then I moved to Standard Bank. Because one of the people that I was auditing while I was in SARS was Standard Bank. I was auditing banks, so I hit them with tax penalties and stuff like that. They said, no, come and fix the mess that you did, that you put us in. I joined Standard Bank initially as an internal auditor and then as a tax consultant. But I kept on, the reason why I'm telling you this, I did a whole lot of things, All of this was trying to find myself as to who I am. What is it that I'm supposed to be doing, So I did audit, I didn't enjoy it. Did finance, I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it. Although I spent so much time and hard work studying for it. But the moment I was supposed to do it, I hated it. I hate routine, can't stand doing the same thing all over again. I need to come to work and don't know what I'm gonna do and what is it I'm gonna achieve, And so I finally found property by chance, So during 2008, when there was that meltdown, I wanted to move to our private equity division at Standard Bank. I was tired of tax, and the private equity guys said, "Look, we can't do deals now because of the meltdown. Rather go to a property division. We do a similar thing. Once then the economy improves, it's gonna come back to us. I've joined property division in that manner, and I got in there. I just loved it. I just thoroughly enjoyed it, and I realized this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I'm supposed to do, And then I look at opportunities in terms of how can I do this in my own personal capacity instead of doing and making money from a property for the bank. What else can how can I do it for myself? So if you ask a question, you get an answer. And by chance, I found myself reading a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and for me, I was sold. I knew that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Let me start then investing properties in my own personal capacity. I was lucky that I was an accountant, so I understand the numbers, so it was a matter of learning the property business itself, and then I started investing, a week. I finished that book on a Thursday. The following week, Friday, I make my first offer. That's the kind of impact that it had on me. I bought a townhouse in Windsor East. You always want to start where you stay when you invest in property. It's a natural thing that let me look around where I'm staying. What can I buy where I'm staying? So I bought a townhouse there. I bought that townhouse for 80,000 rand. And it was positive cash flowing. And I enjoyed that. And I bought my second townhouse until I had 5 townhouses. But then the property prices started going up. Okay, I bought my first one for 80,000, bought my second one for 100,000, bought my third one for 120. I bought my last one for 200,000. Okay, and then the prices went about 200,000. I couldn't buy anymore because the numbers were not making sense. You'll buy, but I'll have to chip in on a monthly basis. I don't do those type of deals. For me, I have to get money on a monthly basis on my property. If the property that is not cash flowing, I don't touch it. I'm not interested in it, So I got stuck. Then I thought this is my end of my property journey after having five properties. And then while I was doing this, I was sharing with a friend of mine what I'm doing, only to find that I'm influencing him to do the same. His name was William Kwela. He was staying in Hillbrook at that time. So he started finding out he was a part of the trustee in the building that he was staying in, and there were people who were not paying. So he started approaching those people to say, guys, we're not paying a levies. We're taking legal action to just sell me a property. He started buying properties, and he told me, Chana, I'm buying here in Hillbrook. I said, Hillbrook, and I went there to look, and it's dirty, smelly. The Hillbrook is way cleaner now. Before when I started, it was very, very dirty. Got my first property for 20 grand. I said, what? Property for 20 grand? 2-bedroom. Bought it. Can you imagine the return there? The rent there, I remember very well, I was getting about 1.5 and the levies were 300. So I was netting about 1,200 on that property. I just swap credit card, boom, credit card, swap it, bought that thing, can save for cash. And my second one, I bought it for 30,000 rand. And I got funding from FNB. Funny enough, I still have that bond even today. I think I'm paying about, the bond is about 500 to 600 rand. 30,000 rand property. I'm still bonded. I've got a 30-year bond with FNB. So I thought, look, this is a great opportunity. I need to pile up these things. I started buying and buying and buying and buying. I think I'm just over 100 now of properties that I own. It's been a great 10-year period for me. It's over a 10-year period. So I love the CBD. Okay. So why then do I invest in a CBD and don't buy anywhere else and don't buy townhouses and all that? For me, it's about the return. My biggest driver in any investment is a return. If I'm not getting the required return, I'm not going to invest. Okay, so if you put your money in a bank now, you're going to get 2% return. It's 2.8. There's a guy I'm helping to start investing. He's starting to save. So we looked at Nedbank, we looked at Standard Bank. The best investment is 2.8% in the commercial banks, the big commercial banks. Fine, you can get about 8% at Time Bank. I think that's the highest, which is great. But the commercial banks is about 2%. So which is terrible. It's less than inflation. Basically you are not growing your money if you're going to earn that kind of return. You're losing money on a yearly basis. Okay, you're going to see that you put 100 rand, come here and it's 102. umsebenzi okuphi athwale inkomo nje manje. Who's that? Can you mute, please? Yeah. So for me, I want 20% as an example. Okay. So all my properties, I think the lowest return on any of my properties is 18% return. Okay. So I've realized that the prices are going up and all that. So I need to lower down my return expectation. But my ideal is 20%. I want 20% of my return. So if it's 20%, what does it mean? That means I get back my money in 5 years. Okay, whatever I put in, I get my money in 5 years. I've got a lot of them. The majority of my properties are way above 20%. Okay, so my average has to be 20%. If I get one for 22% and I get another one for 18%, I'll buy both, because on average they're giving me 20%. On average, I don't want to go with 20%. That's just my requirements. That's my criteria. That's my KPI on my property investment. So for me, you never get that on townhouses. You never get that on the commercial space. You probably can get that on retail and industrial, but offices you can't. You know, the best if you do the best deal is 11 or 12% at most. Okay, and the equity that you put in is quite high. So for me, I want to put the least amount of equity, which is my exposure in the property, and then receive the highest maximum return, and then get back my money as soon as possible. That's just my investment strategy. We'll share the investment strategy when I do get when there's still time. But for now, all I want to know about the CBD. So I'll focus on the CBD. So that's the motivation then why I'm on a CBD, and it's difficult for me to get out because I can't see the value anywhere else. Okay, the value for me is in a CBD. Okay, and people are scared of the CBD, but whatever you focus on expands. That's my belief. If you focus on your fear will expand, and your mind and the universe will give you the reason, to justify your fear. Okay. Whereas if you focus on the opportunity, the universe will give you the opportunities. Hence, the opportunities keeps on flowing to me. Okay, that's what I do. I invest firstly in my personal capacity, and I've also set up funds. Okay, I've got the fund that I've set up. It's called Massive Sunny Property Fund. So basically, I invited investors to come and invest with me. Put together the money, and then I run the fund. I manage a fund. I buy the properties. I think we've got about 42 or 45 properties now in that fund, but it's closed. It's no longer inviting investors, but I also manage properties for individual investors that are investing in a CBD. If you've got a property in CBD, you're struggling, don't know how to manage it, you can bring it to me. I can manage it for you. Or if you want me to buy a property for you in a CBD and want me to manage it, I do that. So I think there's one or two of my investors in the room that are listening. Can I expose you, baby?
You can.
It's okay.
Why are you doing that?
Okay, I won't. It's fine. I'll keep it to myself. I think I bought Debbie's property about 4 years ago.
5 years.
5 years ago. Yeah.
Yes.
So managing a property, unfortunately decided to exit that market. He wants to go to Ekasi. So he's coming to your space in Domiso. So he's selling this property. And I know that today his tenant is owing $5,000. That's what he's outstanding on it. So, but the point is she's always gotten her money in the 5-year period. There's never been an issue, So it's the COVID that's caused issues, that there was a delay, but basically even during the COVID time, we collected rentals. But probably the people in townhouses were not collecting rentals. Can you imagine if you've got a bond of $5,000 and you're getting $6,000 and suddenly you're not getting that $6,000 and you had not budgeted to pay that $5,000 for the bond. You know, it's a big thing. Whereas in a CBD, it's cheap money. You know, if you've got a bond, you're paying R1,000 on that bond. You know, and you can afford to handle it yourself in case there's issues. But for me, what happened during COVID was foolproof. That it's a very resistant market. You know, we didn't collect only 20% for the fund. If I put for the fund, for example, we didn't collect 20% of our income. So we collected 80% of our income in April, and May, and June. And then after June, we started going back. We started collecting 90%, 95%, collecting the full amount as it is now. It shows that it's a good market. You know, you're always gonna get your money. There's no issues. Okay. And then where then in a CBD do you invest? CBD is quite wide. For me, I love Hebrew. Closer to Parktown, that node, you know, I invest all the way up to the summit. Those who know Hillbrow, you know, Hillbrow is like from Parktown, you're going up. When you get to the summit, it's on top, and then it started going down to the other side. I don't go to the other side. I like this side of Hillbrow. We're closer to Parktown, closer to the police station, you know. And I'm managing now. We're managing just closer to 200 units in that area, and they're all in basically 2 or 3 streets, you know, and they're all in 5 buildings. Okay, so my strategy is to get into the building and try and buy more and more and more in the same building, trying to take over that building, you know, so it's safer. And then how then do you assess what is the right building in a CBD? You have to do your homework. It's very risky not to do your homework. You have to do your homework. The easiest thing is that when you want to buy in that building, firstly, you need to check that there's a functioning body corporate. Okay, there's trustees, it functions. Okay, so that helps. Get the financials, you know. So if it's not functioning, you know that there are no financials. Okay, it's a sign that is not functioning, you know. So it might be that the functioning body corporate now, they're trying to fix things. You know, they might not be financials, but they are working towards them. It's the right time to get in. Because normally most people are scared of getting into such a building, but for you, it's the right time to get in because we're gonna get the units cheap. Okay, so that's basically my criteria. See if there's a functioning body corporate. If it's haywire, there's no functioning body corporate, nobody's paying levies, it's a big problem. Okay, and the second thing that you look for is a status with municipality. Are they owing the municipality? Majority of the buildings in Hipa are owing a lot of money in municipality. In fact, the first building that I bought into is Park Mansions. We were owing the municipality about 4 million rand. Okay, they were starting to attach some of the units. Okay, but the key is, have they gotten the hand? Are they collecting enough money to be able to pay the municipality the current installment and some money towards the old debt? As long as it's like that, you can get in. You know, if they can't afford even to pay the current bill, the amount is gonna keep on creeping up, then you shouldn't get into that building. You know, so but people are scared by the debt. The debt shouldn't scare you if it's manageable. If they're managed, it's manageable. It's time to get in. Buy. Like Park mentions now, we've got it's got 189 units. The debt is fully paid. We're making more than enough money. We've got excess money now. You know, so it took like what 6-7 years to do that, but now the values at Park mentions, I mean, have gone up like quite. Selling units now at about 180 to 200,000, whereas when I started, they were buying at about like 50,000 rand. You know, so we've increased the value of my investment like 4 times. Okay. What else? In the CBD? Why CBD? Or how do I source deals? Okay. The way I source deals, I don't like buying from the market because I don't like paying market prices. Okay, but there's nothing wrong in buying from the market. Market is basically Property 24. The famous one for CBD is called Imagine Properties. www.imagineproperties.co.za. They sell a lot of properties there. But there, the price is like, for me, generally, it doesn't make sense. Okay, anything that is advertised there, if you're gonna have to calculate your return, find out your return is 9%, 8%. I don't want such return. So I hardly monitor the property 24, hardly monitor emerging properties. What I've done, I've built relationship with the brokers, and I gave them my criteria. Said, if I need properties that meet this criteria, that produce this return. If it doesn't produce the return, don't bother bringing it to me. But if you want to make a sale, a guaranteed sale, and it meets this criteria, don't put it into the market. Bring it to me first before you put it into the market. Okay, so you have to build a relationship with the brokers and have that kind of understanding. And when they bring you the deal, you have to deliver. Because if you don't deliver, then next time they're not gonna bring the deal. So for me, they do bring me the deals because I deliver when they bring me the deal. Secondly, I've built a relationship with the caretakers. If you go to the building, love the caretakers of the building. They'll protect your investment. Okay, the caretakers help me with the whenever there's somebody who wants to sell, they normally speak to the person, I would like to sell my flat. The caretaker will quickly phone me, and then we close the deal. Once you've done that, give the caretaker something. You know, they're not going to pay the full commission. These guys will be happy to receive anything. You know, all they did was to pass the information that this person wants to sell. You went in there and closed the deal. You know, so if you give them something, they're going to bring more and more deals. Okay. They also help me with my tenants. You know, when my unit is vacant, they'll recommend my unit first before any other unit, because they know that if they recommend, they're going to get a commission for referring a tenant to me. Okay, so those are the biggest source of information for me. Even my tenants, okay, my tenants, they know me, got a built relationship with them. I visit them, chat to them. I tell them, if there's somebody who wants to sell, please let me know. They tell me, you know, and then I've gotten deals, a lot of deals from my tenants, you know. But the biggest one, once you get into the building, is the levy roll. Okay, try and get involved in trustees if you've got time. But if not, you are entitled to get a levy roll if you're in a building, if you've got a share in a building. So you get a levy roll, you look for whoever is struggling. Okay, this person is not struggling to pay levies, you go and negotiate to buy their properties from them. So now I'm going to take over your debt. Please sell the properties to me. I've gotten a whole lot of deals by doing that. Also, just build a relationship with other investors that are there. You know, tell them that if whenever they want to sell, if they're not ready now, they must come and give it to you and sell it to you. I get a lot of calls like that. You know, so that's basically how I source my properties. You know, and now if I've done a presence in the building, I investigate the body corporate. If I see that everything is fine, even if I don't have presence, I try to get a levy roll for that building, and then look at whoever is struggling. You know, so those who are struggling, normally they are open to selling their properties. You know, so that's how you source them. The pitfalls. Okay, the known pitfalls. Okay, one is hijacking. People, what scares most people about CBD is hijacking. I can tell you right now, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. There's nobody who's just gonna be brave enough to just come and take a building that is functioning properly. All the buildings that are hijacked in the CBD is buildings that's where there's no management, where nobody is, these guys, they move around, they look, they see here, you can just get in and get out anytime. There's no security, there's nothing. They get in, observe who are the owners. It's whites that are not staying here, they probably not coming here. You know, they hijack those buildings. You know, but if there's proper security in a building, there's proper management in a building. You know, there's never been an attempt in any of the buildings that I'm in. Not even a single attempt in the 10 years that I've been in that space. You know, and so I don't know. I don't believe it. So don't be scared of hijacking and don't come to invest in CBD. There's great opportunities. The pie is big for all of us. So you can always come. Okay. But the biggest risk is non-functional body corporate. Yeah, if the body corporate is not functional, that's a risk. You are opening that building to hijacking. The guys will come and function for you and manage the body corporate for you and manage the building for you. And they're going to take some of the units. if there's no functional body corporate. So don't get in unless you want to get in and then get the body corporate up and running. Okay, and then sometimes controlled by clueless owners, guys who don't know, who don't understand how sectional title works and stuff like that. If those that are in the majority, it's a risk, So you might have to do a lot of education, or sometimes you have to drag them kicking and screaming. There's a building where you negotiate and explain yourself. People, they don't care about the explanation. They just care that this is going to increase the levies. We don't want the levies increased. Whereas there's a need to increase it. So you just drag them, kicking and screaming. Guys, fine, you're going to increase the levies. That's it. Vote. Try and get majority and vote, and then take decisions. And owing the council, I've highlighted that one. There's a biggest risk owing the council. You need to manage that risk quite well. Location within a CBD. Okay, so in a CBD, there's a section that is dominated by Nigerians. Nigerians, they like to club together. That's a risky one. I promise you, I had 3 Nigerian tenants in my buildings, in my units. Not that I'm saying anything bad about Nigerians. It's just my experience. And I've been to Nigeria. I've got good friends in Nigeria. But those 3 tenants, I didn't have good experience with them. They were the first one, the first people that I've tried to evict in my units is Nigerians. They get in, sweet talk you, 2-3 months they pay rent, after they just don't pay rent. No matter what you do. One of them was a Christian. We were going together with him to Rema Church. I thought, no, this is a Christian married to a colored girl. No, this is a Christian. You won't do that to me. He did the same thing. Took my townhouse. He paid me for 2 months after he didn't want to pay. Each time I come to collect the rent, my brother, it's bad money. You can't take me out. What do I do with my children? Yeah, Christian, my brother. People use Christianity now to try and not pay me. So there's a Nigerian area. I'll caution you to buy in that area because they really control it. So be careful. So hence I'm saying buy on the other side, closer to the police station. Majority of the buildings they are okay. Okay. And then the size of the building. Okay. For me, I'll say try and not go in a building that's got more than 200 units. The ideal size is 100, 150 units, 60 units. A small one is a problem. Because if let's say it's got 20 units and 10 owners are not paying, you're going to struggle to get anything done in that building. You can't afford nothing, So whereas if it's got 60 units, even if 30 people are not paying, you can still carry, the other 30 can carry the building until you fix it. Okay. Tanazil is asking where is the Nigerian hill, bro? How do I explain it? I can't remember the street names now. There's a, okay, I'll think about it. I'll come back to your question. What was on the size of the building? So the sweet spot is between 60 and say 180. That's a good size. That's a good size building. Anything that's got like 400 units is chaos. You have to manage 400 investors. Unless you can buy more than 200 at once, then it's fine. But if you're gonna keep on buying slow and slow, it's gonna take time and it might be chaos. It's difficult to control all those people. So stay away from huge buildings. Try and get small buildings. I think that's it on a CBD. Is a time to share to just share my strategy on how I go about, how I look at property as an investment. Dumiso, you still have time?
Yes, no, go ahead. I think it's one of the most important.
Okay. So as I said, for me, the key ingredient in property is cash flow. And I believe in any business that you get into, cash is king. You don't get money, cash in your bank account on a monthly basis. In my view, it's a wrong business. You shouldn't be in it. Value Value investing, hoping for the value to go up in property is gambling. It might happen and it might score big, but then it might not happen. So it's a risk, you know. So I don't want to gamble. I want assurance when I invest. Okay. So I classify the property market into three. There's a low end, there's a middle end, and the high end. High end, you invest purely for capital appreciation. You buy a property in Sentin. You've got a view that certain properties are going to grow by 50% in the next 3 to 5 years. You buy it. You're happy to put in money on a monthly basis. Maybe the rent doesn't even cover your bond. You pay a portion of the bond. You pay the levies. You pay the whatever the property costs. But you're happy to do that, hoping that in 3 or 4 years time you're going to sell. And then you get more than the purchase price plus the monthly expenses that you incur. That's high end. And then there's a middle end where the property is just like sort of like breaking even. If you're contributing $100, if you're making money, making $100. But you're clearing what you get in that middle end. So there you're hoping for the escalation is in rental, then you're gonna start making money, and you're hoping for the capital appreciation. Okay, so that's how majority of the townhouses are sold. It's like it's gonna start cash flowing in 3 years' time. The market people go bravely and market that thing openly, and people flock in. To me, it doesn't make sense. Okay, for me, hence I'm focusing on the low end. The low end is the hill pros, is the dilapidated areas, you know, where you get something for cheap, you know, you're gonna get back your money quite quickly, and then you're gonna get money on a monthly basis. As long as the tenant in that places, you are accumulating cash flow, positive cash flow. That's my strategy. I focus on that. You know, if I look at the property and it's not gonna give me that, I'm happy to buy the townhouse as long as it's gonna give me at least 15% return. I'll buy it anytime. Bring it to me, I'll take it. But then at the same time, I don't wanna, you know, in a townhouse, you buy one townhouse, the equity, the contribution that you might have to make is high. You know, so you must manage that. You must make your money move. You mustn't lock your money in 1 or 2 townhouses. Then you can't invest in property for the next 2-3 years. You know, you must keep it moving. Put in your capital, see how quickly you can get it out, so you can take it and put it into another investment. Get it out, put it in another investment. You must make your money work hard. That's what they mean by making your money work hard. You mustn't be lazy and sit in and be stuck in one property, you know. So the idea should be to build the balance sheet. Okay, some of us have looked at the balance sheet, but we didn't even know that you've got a personal balance sheet, you know. So by building a balance sheet, your net asset value must be growing on a monthly basis. Mine has to grow on a monthly basis. Every month, even if it grows by $100, it has to grow. It can't go backwards. It can't remain stagnant. It has to grow on a monthly basis. Every month, I must be richer by a certain percentage. Okay. And then how do I assess property? Location is not a big deal for me. Location is not a big deal for me. As I said, the return is a big thing for me. I don't care about capital appreciation. You know, capital appreciation I see it as a bonus. You know, for me, you make money when you buy, getting into the property. So cash flow, cash is king. For me, I'll only focus. The capital appreciation is a game for the rich. If I may just tell you that. It's a game for the rich. The rich people have got a lot of cash and they don't know what they want to do with it, you know. So to preserve it, because it's expensive to keep cash, to preserve it, they enter into deals that's got capital appreciation. So most rich guys, they buy in something because they know it's going to appreciate. They are storing their money, you know, effectively. When they need it, then they're going to go take it out. They know they're going to get a higher value on capital appreciation. So you can't be playing the game for the rich when you're not rich yet. Okay, when you're not rich, focus on cash flow. Okay, and then refinancing. You know, there's a strategy of refinancing. And how did I finance my properties? Okay, how did I grow my properties to what it is? Okay, one of the strategies that I adopted, okay, was what I'm going to share with you now. Please don't do if you're not disciplined. It's only for the disciplined people. If you're not disciplined, close your ears. If you get money, you think consumption. You don't think investment. Don't do what I'm about to say. Okay. But one of the strategies that I adopted is credit cards. Okay. At some point, I had credit cards from each and every bank. Okay. If you've got a credit card in a bank, there's movement in your credit card. You know, if you've got a grocery for money, buy the grocery using your credit card and pay it in full when you get paid. The idea is to increase your credit facility. Every 6 months they review. If they see that you use it and you pay, you use and pay, they're going to increase your thing. You know. So at some point I had about 600K of facilities. I think I still have even today. Okay, I think I've cut one. Maybe I'm sitting at 500K now. Okay, so that's what I did. Okay, so I took those credit. I buy properties using credit cards because properties are cheap in Hillsborough. As I said, my first one at 20,000, and I swapped a credit card. Okay, that's how I picked up this thing of using a credit card. Now, you can actually swap and buy property. Then, firstly, you must. Okay, let me take a step back. First, you must allocate a money for investing on a monthly basis. If you don't do that, you can't do what I'm doing. You have to have money, even if it's 10 grand. So, okay, this 10 grand is for investing. Okay, so you buy using a credit card. You start getting rental from the property. You take that money, the rental plus the 10 grand, you pump it into the credit card. Okay, before you know it, you've got capacity to buy again. Okay, if you've got 5, then you might be able to buy 2 or 3 properties. You know. And then you keep on doing the same thing. You know, you buy using credit card, and then you pay it. You allocate that 10 grand to pay the credit card. In case the tenant doesn't pay, you've got the 10 grand to service the credit card. But try and pay the credit card as fast as possible because it's expensive money. You know, so generally, I think now the credit card's interest rate is about 16%. So try and get a property that gives you a return of 16% or above. You know. Say 20%, at least you've got a 5% margin on buying 4-room. Sorry, I didn't see that question. I'll check it later. That's one strategy that I use. Okay, using credit card facilities to invest in property. I bought a lot of properties using that. Even today, I still do actually. Okay, take the money from credit card, buy property, pay it off. If you've got a facility of 200K in a credit card, you can buy where I'm buying. You can buy a property every 6 months, 6 to 8 months. Okay, so that's how you can fast track your property thing. But the second thing is refinancing. If you've got a house that is worth more than what you bought it for, you can refinance your house. For example, I bought a house for 550. When the property market was going up, my house went on to be worth about 1.5 million. So I refinanced, got a million rand. I bought, I was paying 4,000 rand on the bond. Bought the house for 550. I was paying 4,000 rand. Okay, I refinanced, got $1 million out. Okay, my bond increased to about 8,000 rand, I think. Okay, I bought 8 properties with my million. That gave me 14,000 rand. Okay, can you see that my bond increased to 8? You can say it increased by 4 because I was already paying the 4 from my salary. So I got 14,000 rand, but I increased my expenses by 4. I netted 10 out of that deal by just refinancing your house. So you can refinance your house, but you must buy those properties for cash so that the rental can service the bond. And then over and above that, you've got extra money. So my properties were servicing the bond, and over and above it, I had extra money for my next investment. Okay, so I didn't touch any money from my properties, not a cent, for 6 years. Not a cent, because I had a vision to grow this thing. I wanted financial freedom. I wanted this thing to replace my salary. Okay, so for 6 years, each and every cent that I got, I saw it as not my money, as money. I set up a company to do this. I saw it as a company thing until 6 years. You know, when I started seeing what I'm doing, you know, then I started to reward myself. You know, started like just started by rewarded myself for that property paying for my holidays. And for the first 6 years, never touch a cent. Just put everything back. Put everything back. Keep on pumping more, man. If I get a bonus, I take 10% of that bonus to enjoy for myself. 90% get into my property deal. Because I just was so obsessed with growing this thing, so that I don't have to worry about money anymore. My drive was financial freedom, and I remember that day very well where I achieved that, where my property business gave me more money than my salary. It was the greatest day of my life. So you need to have that. You must make a decision in terms of what do you want from a property portfolio. If you're just doing it because other people are doing it, you'll be mediocre in it. It won't go anywhere. But if you want it to give you financial freedom, if you want it to you must have a drive. You must want to grow it. You must be obsessed with growing it and take each and every cent and pump into it so that you can grow it. It gives you freedom. What I like about it, and how, if I may take a step back to tell you why I chose property out of everything. My vision was, I want to get into a business that will not take my time. I wanted not only financial freedom, I wanted time freedom as well. I want to be able to do what I want when I want to do it. So any other business, if you do a franchise, for example, you have to be there, you have to work and long hours. I didn't want that. I don't want gray hair. The white hair is fine here, but not here. I don't want it here. So for me, I can say I'm lazy. Okay. I'm more a thinker than a doer. I don't like doing stuff. I don't like, I want to think, plan, strategize. That's me, So hence, I don't even manage my own properties. There's somebody who manages everything. I don't do nothing whatsoever. For me, I focus on deal making. That's my passion. That's what I want to do. Someone else is doing the management. I touch nothing. I add help there and there, but it's not me. I can go on for 5 months not knowing what is happening in that space, because that's not me. But I have time to think, and I have time. That's why I got into property. So you need to look at yourself while investing in property and see if you're passionate about it. If you're not passionate about it, there's nothing wrong in investing in property, but get another person to do it for you. Get the person who's passionate about it to do it for you. And we do provide that service. Then you will grow faster than trying to do something that is not you. It has to be you. Okay. I've explained that power of leverage. I've explained the power of privilege. Okay. Just the key principles, just to summarize, is a return on investment. You must have a return in mind and you must stick to it. The minimum money that you want to invest, you must try and minimize the amount of money that you try and get somebody else to fund the property other than you, other than your money. Put as little as possible. Get the little money to put in out as quickly as possible, and then try and do infinite returns. Okay. So I just give you one example of an infinite return deal that I did at Park Mansions. There was a guy who was owning 3 units. He was struggling to pay the levies. Okay. I went to him and I said, can I buy the properties from you? He agreed, said, just take them away. Take them away. These guys have been harassing me. Can you help me not to get my name listed? Fine. I'll take over the properties for you. I'm going to give you 10 grand for them. I'm going to take over the debt from you. Okay. I think he was owing about 60 grand on each property. There were 3 of them. I'm going to give you 10 grand for you to just get something, but I'm going to take over your debt. He agreed. So if you can do that, fine. And I went to the body corporate. I said, this guy can't pay this money. I want to take it over. I want to pay it faster. We've been struggling. We've been incurring legal fees to pursue him. Let's not do that. Can you stop incurring the legal fees? I'll take over the debt, and then, but can I pay you 30 grand, 50% of the debt? I'm gonna pay you in cash. They agreed. And then it took like 3 months. It was taking long then to transfer property. It took 3 months to transfer. The 10 grand, I took over the properties immediately. The 10 grand that I paid him came from the rentals. So I didn't put a cent on that deal, but I got 3 properties. That's called infinite returns. Okay, that's one of the crazy deals that I've done. I think I must stop it there. Maybe address questions. I've seen some questions coming through. How do I see them?
Okay, let's see if we can assist. I'll go, if you can go to the chat, and but it's fine. I'm there. I got right here tablet. Okay, I still have 2. Let's see. Where are the Nigerians in Hillbrow? We dealt with that. What is your take on buying 4-room? What is your take on buying a 4-room house and building rooms? I think that's what they mean. Yeah, building flats.
Yeah.
What's the real?
For me, you can do whatever. There's no prescription in terms of what you can do with property. The key thing is return. Is it going to calculate your returns up front? How much money, you must know how much money is going to take you to buy that 4-room and to build the rooms. Calculate how much income are you going to get, and what are the monthly expenses. You know how to calculate the return. Return is your total income less your total expenses and the net income that the property is going to produce. Okay, you take that net, you times it by 12. Times it by 12, and then you divide it by your capital cost, your purchase price plus the cost of the additional rooms. If that is positive and gives the return that you want, go for it. That's all it takes. But it's a nice way of entering the property game as well. You must just know what are the renters in that space. You know, are you gonna get them? Is there tenants? If there's that, go for it. What's the next one?
Yeah. Let me see. Strategy in buying and then please repeat that point about the 200,000 credit card facility at the end.
I don't know what exactly you want, but what I was saying there is build your credit profile, get a credit card, take all the expenses. Even if you're going to pay cash, don't pay cash. Use a credit card and then pay it immediately. You know that if you use a credit card on the 20th and you pay it by the 1st, you don't incur interest. Okay, so use your credit card and clear it immediately. You don't incur interest, but they are seeing that there's activity in your credit card. 6 months later, the bank is going to call you and say, can we increase your facility? Even if they don't call you, you can call them and say, I want to increase my facility. They will increase it for you. So you can increase it and increase it to whatever you want. Let's say you've got a 200K facility. Okay, you take that 200K, you go and buy a property for cash. You can get them in Hillbrow. Okay. In fact, if there's anybody who's got 175,000 cash now, can bring it to me. I'll go and buy properties for you. I'll guarantee you the return on your capital. If 6 months later you feel that you don't want that property, I'll buy it for you. Okay. 175K. I'll do it for you as an example today. Okay. But you go and buy the property. Let's say there's this 175 property that is available right now. Okay, take the 200K, you go and buy the property. You're gonna get a rental, you know, of about 3-5. It's a 1 bed, about 3-5 to 4 grand. And you take that 4 grand, you pay off the credit card, and then you also contribute in paying off the credit card if you can, you know, and pay it faster, you know. And then later you do the same thing. Keep on doing the same thing. Every 6, like you can pay off your credit card in 6 to 8 months. And then you do the same thing. You look for another property, you know. So every 8 months you can buy property by just having a credit card first of 200K in Hillbrow.
Yes, and we stop using credit card for consumption.
No.
We're not getting anything from consumption. We eat the food and the clothes. We're getting nothing. Go to the bank, nothing. Ask them how much credit you can access, and then if they tell you, then ask them how much is the interest. If you think it's something that you can do it. But what's important, like when Ngaba started, he said, when it comes to refinancing, you must be very disciplined. Don't do it if you are not if you are not disciplined. And this is one strategy that when I went to see him, I'm not sure if he remembered, we had meeting at his office. We spoke about financial freedom and how to achieve that. And he did tell me about this strategy, and it's something that I have implemented myself. And it does work very well. For instance, the person that is talking about building rooms, you get a bond from the bank for the house. You use your credit card to build the rooms. You push what's important is that you must push the construction to finish as quickly as possible, because the credit card is incurring interest. Once you get tenant, you take that money, all of it, you push it to the credit card, you pay off the credit card, you multiply it, you go and to Hillpro, you multiply your properties just like that, as easy as that. Let's move on to Nonsana. How do you mitigate or navigate the challenges taxation in the property space? I think she's asking about tax. How do you manage the tax? What's your strategy around tax?
No, tax, you just have to pay. You just have to pay. But how do you minimize tax? Is to bond your properties. Okay, just to give you a picture. Let's say the 100 properties that I own, okay? Until 3 years ago, this is the power of compounding. Until 3 years ago, maybe I was sitting at 30, 40 properties. And then the rest, about more than half of these properties in the last 3 years, okay? What I did, buy cash, okay? Buy cash, don't know about tax, pay the tax and stuff like that. And then at some point, then you refinance, okay? You refinance, you get the money that you back from the bank, then there's suddenly an interest component into your thingy that cuts your tax drastically, okay? So, but then you've got this money. For example, I last did refinancing a year ago. I got 2.4 million from that refinancing on properties that I bought for 1.2 million. I took 1.2 million to buy those properties, but I got 2.4 million cash back. So I got more than what I bought them for because of the increase in the value of the properties. So what does that mean? I'm paying more interest now on the bonds, okay? But then I've got this 2.4 million that I can go and buy properties with for cash. And then you go to the bank again. You just leave it history of 6 months so that they can see the money coming into your thingy, the financial statements, into the bank account, and then you go and ask for more money. Okay, after buying for 2.4 million, that means next time I refinance, I'll get properties maybe I'll get maybe 3 or 3.5 million, you know. So that's gonna be my game now. That's how I'll be growing. So you get huge cash, and then you pay tax on it. It's fine. It's only 28%, you know. And then you bring in the interest, which wipes out the tax. In those years when there's lots of interest, you're not paying much tax, paying very minimal. Okay. But another way of managing the tax then is to bring in costs that you are incurring in your personal capacity into your business. Hence, it's important to do your property thingy in the business. You know, if a business can buy a car, okay. So instead of taking your tax and then and paying the taxman, you buy a car. Effectively, the car that you own in that business is financed by the taxman. You buy a computer, okay? You claim it in full. The full cost of the computer can claim. You have an office in your house, okay? Suddenly you can claim a portion of your rates. You can claim a portion of your helper's salary. You can claim a portion of whatever. You can suddenly incur petrol. Those are the strategies, but we can talk about those some other time. But that's in the gist of it. There's many ways to reduce tax. So I see Valentine is raising his hand. What's your question, Valentine?
Yeah, maybe let's just finish on these ones on the chart, and then let's see what else is there.
Okay.
How long a period do you structure your deals to achieve the target return on your investment? How long? You said you want 5 years. You want your money back in 5 years, 20% return.
Yeah. My money in 5 years, back in 5 years. Majority of my deals, I get my money in about 15 to 18 months. Majority of the deals, but yeah, maximum for me is 5 years. I have to get my money in 5 years.
Yeah. Busha is asking about where do you get the brokers? I guess she means the agents. How do you maybe let's talk up, let's not say maybe where, but how do you build the relationship with the brokers?
You contact them. They advertise themselves. You go to Hillpro. There's boards all over. You see the board, there's a number. You call them and meet them.
And then
have a discussion with them.
What's the risk of property owners removing the body corporate from managing a block of flats?
What's the risk of the risk is there, but then why would they remove you? They remove you if you're not doing the right things.
Yeah.
So, but the risk is always there. But the key thing is to get majority. Okay, you don't need majority. They say the building's got 100 units. The moment you've got about 20 units, you're in control of that building. Because like 50% of the people will not come to the AGM. Okay. And you need 25% to have an AGM and take valid decision. So 20, if you got 25, it's even better. You effectively in charge of that building. You can take whatever decision you want. That's my strategy. In all the buildings that I've got presence in, not all, like majority, like I'm present in 6 buildings. In 4 of them, I've got more than 25% shareholding.
Yeah, I guess the important thing with the inner city or with this thing of investing in clusters is that you must be active as an investor. You must be active. Otherwise they will come. In one of my flats, we're struggling now. There's a group of, you probably know them. They call themselves Joburg Rental Association or something like that. They come in and then they came in and then they said to tenants that they must stop paying for electricity because the electrical utility company is cheating them. So the tenants stopped, which then meant that the utility company could not pay the municipality. So now there's an issue now of the municipality because we as owners, and I guess the trustees were sleeping at that point in time. Now we've got this issue now that we're dealing with now. We don't know whether these people are trying to take over the building or what is actually their strategy. But now this is where you need to be active as an investor. You have to be active. Otherwise, your property is going to go down the drain if you are not active.
No, definitely you have to. I know everything that's happening in my business. Hence, I'm not spreading myself too thick. Like I try and stick to. I've got, as I said, I've got presence in 6 buildings, and in all of them, I'm involved. Go there, I make sure that there's a caretaker. The caretaker is on the board. He knows what's going on. The security. Everybody who gets in and out is signed. How do those guys get into the building? So that means a lack of security. And stuff like that. For me, I know each and every person who gets into my building. The security, I remove them if they don't do their work. I remove them. There's rules. There's no visitation before certain times. Everybody comes in. He has to have an ID. Has to have the person that is being visited must come and fetch them. Be strict. Manage them. Make sure there's proper management. Then there will never be an issue. Let
me ask you this question, for me, because it's something that I'm thinking about. Why have you not bought a building? I'm thinking, why don't you sell there were properties that you have and buy one building and own the building?
Okay. For me, I don't know if it's not a nice thing to say this. I'm playing on ignorance a little bit. Okay. I want to buy from an ignorant seller. Okay. So if you buy from an ignorant seller, that means you're going to get a good price. They don't know what is the market price. Okay. If you buy from me, the property that I'm going to buy for that 175, I'm not going to sell it for 175. Okay. I then look for what? An ignorant buyer. So for me as an investor, I want more for my investment. But if I'm just an owner staying there, I just want to get rid of this thing because of the headache, then I'm sort of like an ignorant seller. Then I can sell it for cheap because I don't know what is the market price. Okay. So a person who owns the building is an investor. They will never sell me a building at 20%. Okay. So I don't want to buy buildings are going at 10%. Okay. So for me, I'm just thinking, why should I convert something that's giving me 20% and then go and get something that's going to give me 10%? Doesn't make sense. So hence I've been continuing to take over building slowly by individual units. That's just my game because of the return that I'm getting from them. But having said that, I'm working on that right now to buy buildings. There's one that is on the card right now. The second fund that I'm building. If anybody's got 100K, wants to invest in a fund, can come and invest. I've got 4 buildings that I've bought. I've done a deal on. They are returning at least about 13.5%. I'm saying fine for the scale. It's 20. The deal is about 26 million in total. So for the scale, I'm happy to get 13%. And more so, it's not really gonna be my money. I'm gonna raise money from other people. Majority of the people, they're happy with that return. They'll be happy with 13%. So I'm happy to do the deals on buildings at that price, but not at 10. I won't take your money to invest your money at 10%. You'd rather put your money in time bank and it's safer and get 8%.
Okay, I hear you. So if anyone has got 100,000 and they want 13%, here is your chance. You've got someone who's in the space and they understand what he's doing. How do you save? How do you fund or save up for maintenance of the properties?
How do I save? There's 2 aspects to the property sectional charting. There's aspects that are managed by the body corporate, okay, which is outside the unit. I only manage what is inside the unit. How I manage that is I fix the property up front, okay? Make sure it's clean. When the tenant comes in, we have a conversation, okay? Said, Jana, do you see this unit? It's clean. The paint is in a good state. There's no broken windows. There's nothing is broken. Okay? I'm giving you my unit in this state. I want my unit back in this state. So anything that changes from this state is your responsibility. If you break a window, you fix it. If you mess up the paint, you fix it. The only thing that I will fix is a leaking tap. That means it's wear and tear from the inside. That I will fix. Okay. So I'll only fix it as a leaking tap. That's the money I spend in my units and then upgrading it, then like putting tires and all that. But anything else, what is the geyser is taken care of by the body corporate. There's nothing to fix. There's really nothing to fix. I hardly spend anything on maintenance. To be honest, to just give you a picture, Masibambisane, my fund, it's got 40 units. Okay, our repairs and maintenance for last year, if my memory serves me well, I think we spent 20,000 rand. 20,000 on 40 units that are generating R1 million.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, yeah. And this is why I thought I must have this session where we talk about investing in flats, because flats are very easy to invest in, very easy to manage. There is no high maintenance cost. All you need to do is to make sure that the tenant is happy. He keeps us paying the rent and you collect your money. Because outside, like you're saying, you've got the body corporate, inside you've got the tenant. There's nothing that needs you. It's only those things that breaks once in a while that needs you to attend to them. Flats is they are actually my preferred one is still the township investment, but if you want growth and easy to manage and no stress, you go to this kind of investment, then you will be good. Now I'm asking
when I started, I used to visit my tenants a lot. Okay, so my first 20 tenants are still in my units even today, 10 years later. So I went to one of my buildings last year. I saw one of those tenants. She was so angry with me that, oh, now you don't come and visit us, blah, 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 blah. You know? So I'm just thinking, I haven't seen this tenant in 6-7 years. We've never been in touch. We've never had to go to her flat for 6 years. She pays the rent. All we check is that there's money, there's rent. That's my only interaction with the tenant for 6 years. Nothing, never been there.
Yeah. Okay. This one I'm asking because it's from one of your relatives, C2 Manana. She wants to know what is the best structure? How the properties are owned for starting the property portfolio? I guess she wants the property structure. You said it's in a company. That is a company owned by a trust, or do you own the shares of the company personally? What's your property structure?
Okay. My whole structure is that there's a trust on top. Below the trust, there's a holding company. Okay. And then below the holding company, there's a whole lot of companies then for my investments. Okay. I've got the property management company, our property solutions. Okay. I've got the property investment company, which owns my properties. Okay. So I'm getting into energy now. This is about energy, you know. So that's my layer. Okay. It's always great to do investment in a company rather than the trust. Because if you do them in a company, you can play around with cash. Okay. Especially if you've got more companies, you know, you can move cash from one company to the other tax-free. Okay. Whereas if it's in a trust, you can't play around, you can't do things. But if you that's all you're gonna do one thing, then perhaps you can do it in a trust, no problem. Okay. But I try to discourage people because you might grow. You never know when you're gonna grow. You put stuff in a trust, you're stuck. But if you've got something in a company, you can play around with it. It's flexible. You can fund one company to the other, you can move cash and do stuff tax-free. Okay, so it's in a company, you know. So everything is in there.
Yeah,
that's my.
And then the last one, and this is the last one on the chart. She wants to know the 100,000. Can it come from a stock? Can a stokvel invest in your fund, or it must be an individual?
Anyone. It can be a stokvel. It can be whatever.
Okay. Yeah. And then let's move to the hands now. Valentine, sorry about your hand has been up for a long time.
Okay. Thank you so much, my brother. And I just have a series of questions for you. And I don't know what would be best, to ask one at a time or to just post all of them and give you time to respond. They're not long questions. They probably you'll have a one-word answer also.
Give me the first three.
Okay. So the first one is,
I think Valentine, sorry. I think you must choose the best three, because it's gonna answer only those three. We are already at 11:30. I know there are other questions that I skipped on the chat. If there's other questions, you guys can contact me after the session. We must not take too much with the session. So choose the best three rather. Not the first three, but the best three.
Okay. So there are four. I'll try and put the other two in one. My first one is you touched
all four, then it's only four.
Okay. The first one you touched on the financing of the properties, which is the options are figured out is bond, and the other one is basically raising capital and credit card. For someone who's a starter and also doesn't have capital, what would you suggest or advise of a strategy to start? I mean, surely, I mean, someone could have been in this webinar and would really, really love to start and do it, but the current situation is I don't have cash, and but I would love to start. Tomorrow is now. The second one is how do you, besides the CBD, how do you classify or identify the low-end markets? And then you also touched on your strategy as a disciplined individual. And not everyone could be as disciplined as you are, but could have what it takes to start and make it big in property. So what would you advise for the other native group of people that are not as disciplined as you are as a strategy? And the last one is, what is your management charge?
Okay, let me start with the easy one. The management charge is basically I charge 10% of the rental, you know, but only the rental that I've collected. If I don't collect any rental, then I don't charge anything. So if the rent is 3,000 rand, I charge 300 bucks. Okay. So, but majority of the agents, in fact, all of them, not majority, all of them, they charge the 10%, irrespective of whether they collected the rent, irrespective of whether there's a tenant there or not. You still have to pay them. Okay, we're trying to look for it. Then the second one that I'll attend is the low end. I explained the low end. I explained what do I classify as the low end, and the middle end and high end. High end, you contribute money on a monthly basis. Low end, I mean middle end is breaking even. Low end, you're making money. If you can make money in a townhouse, that's low end. If it's cash positive. Township, if it's cash positive, it's low end. That's just my class. That's just my classification. Okay, and then coming with the person who doesn't have capital. For me, this is a game first of psychology. It's a mind game. You know, you might see the results. You know, being out that I've got so many properties and stuff like that. It's that in the mind. Okay, so you have to fix your mind. Okay, I can share the best strategies for you. If your mind is not right, you're not gonna do it. Okay, hence people come to me, sometimes they want me to be mentored and stuff like that. I assess their mind. You know, if I see that the person is not right mentally, I'm not prepared to waste my time. I know I'm wasting my time. Okay, you have to fix it. So for me, the fact that you don't have capital, it shows that you're not ready to invest. So you mustn't try to invest. There's somebody who's got a, can I please mute? Somebody who's very noisy. Okay, so I'm saying you have to fix your mind first, okay? If you don't have a cent, don't have capital, you are not ready to invest. Please don't bother investing, okay? You're gonna sabotage yourself. You're gonna lose investment. The people who say, I tried property, this thing doesn't work, because they're not ready mentally to do it. How do you get yourself ready mentally? You get yourself ready mentally by having a discipline of saving, having a saving culture. Save. Even if you save 200 rand a month, take a decision that I'm gonna save 200 bucks a month and save that 200 bucks a month. If 3 months down the line, you said you put an excuse, I can't save 200 rand this month, I'm gonna start next month, you're not ready. Psychologically, you're not ready to do it. Don't do it. Have a track record of a saving where you've made a decision and stuck to it. If you make a decision and don't stick to it, you don't have the capacity to do it. Don't do it. It's my strong advice. Don't do it. Fix your mind first, work on your psychology, you know, to investing, you're not going to win. Okay, that's the capital answer. The fourth one, I couldn't hear it properly. Can you just repeat the fourth one, please? I didn't understand. You were asking about. Are you covered?
I think the fourth one is entirely covered on your answer.
Okay, fine.
That you just presented now. So there isn't any, in short, there isn't any other way you can do it if you don't have the right mentality, which is the saving to the investment mentality.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think having that said, being one of the lucky ones to be guided by you, what I found very important that actually gives you a clear and realistic picture is the balance sheet, the personal balance sheet.
Yes, you have to have that. If you don't, how can you achieve something if you don't have an aim? You know, you can't hit a target if there's no target in front of you. You know, you need to have the existing balance sheet. You must know where you are, because people are so scared of knowing what is their position. Have a balance sheet, no matter how terrible it is. That's the reality. You know, you're in debt. You know, mine, when I started this property game, I was 600. My net asset value was 600,000. 600,000 in debt when I started. You know, and I turn around in a year and a half. Okay, so you need to know where you are, have a current balance sheet, and have a future balance sheet. How do you want your balance sheet to be like? Now you've got something to aim for. You've got a motivation. You know. So when you've got thoughts of diverting from where you want to go, you know, if you've put your balance sheet in your mirror, you see it every day, you take the right decision all the time. You know, there's nuances obviously to do this, you know. So one of them is to do your current balance sheet and say, this is my net asset value now, or it's my net negative value, but I want it to be so much. Okay, you know, mine, I want it to be 25 million net. Okay, that's my target. 25 million net asset value. Okay, so to get there, it's a high target for me. You know, I need to push. I need to push. Hence, when I reach my financial freedom, you know, like I could have at some point I slept. You know, because the idea was to just replace my salary. I replaced it and I slept. I think for a year I didn't have motivation. I took the wrong decisions. You know, because I had aimed low. Okay, so I had to readjust my balance sheet and readjust my aim, you know, and make it too high, you know, so that I can keep the motivation going and keep on pushing. Okay.
Yeah, one of the things that I liked about Ngab, I always aim high. When I had that meeting that I spoke about, he told me that he wanted 1 million rands a month. So when I sleep late in the day, I think about that to say, I also want to have 1 million rands a month. And I got that from him. Now he's talking about 25 million rands net balance sheet. So the target
I still want that 1 million rand a month. I still want it. You know, it's still there, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Gonyama?
Yes, Dumi. So I wanted to ask Ngaba, my brother, is it true that in the CBD, if the value of the property is below 350K, that as the owner, you don't pay rates and taxes? The municipality will actually assist you, but you don't pay rates and taxes.
Yes, it's true. Not 350K, 700K, yeah?
Wow, even better.
Yes. Yes. We don't pay rates and taxes. I don't pay.
Wow. Nice, my brother.
Yes.
Okay. No, is that Joburg?
Yeah.
Yes, there's the city of Joburg, CBD.
Yeah, then I must go to Joburg. I'm leaving Pretoria. I'm moving. I'm moving. Here we do pay. I was actually shocked. In all of my flats, I do pay rates and taxes.
Which flats?
Yes.
The flats that I've got here in Pretoria.
Yeah, like sunny side.
What's the value?
No, they far less than I think they have about 400 the market value also.
Hey, you must go and object and get your money.
Yeah, no,
No ways. It's a mistake.
Yes.
It's a mistake.
Yeah, because I think the city of Joburg, they want to obviously push the whole thing of the urban renewal. So they are encouraging more investment.
Yes.
No, but I'm sure in Pretoria it's the same, man. I'm sure it's the same.
No, I will investigate it. I will investigate and find out what's going on. How do we pay and then other people don't pay? Imagine someone who's got properties worth 10 million rands is not paying rates and taxes. It can't be right. And this is something that I also wanted to say about you, that we have a chartered accountant who's an asset manager who's got worth a lot of money, but he loves Hillbrook.
Yes.
Men are strange animals, eh?
I'm telling you.
It looks like the questions are finished. And I think it's a good time to say to you, Mr. Manana, thank you so much for coming through. Like I said, we are probably going to have to call you back at some point, because I can see the interest. There's a number of questions that I skipped in the chat as well that I thought they've been covered, but obviously people still wanted more explanation and stuff like that. Yeah, but I think it's one of those very few sessions where we've had like good number of questions that came out, which means that people are really interested. And I'm actually glad, because then it means there is something really in this inner city investment. For me, it makes absolutely perfect sense to start there. If you want to start with a flat, because like I said, easy to buy, easy to manage. You don't have to do much as an investor. But I also think it's quite important for one to invest in themselves before they actually go to the investment. But for you, Mr. Manana, thank you so much, sir, for coming through. We highly appreciate your time. And,
it was my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. I think my parting shot will be the best investment that you can make, though, is you. You know, focus on you, find out who you are, you know, and try and get the best version of you. You know, try and work on not being controlled by your mind, but on being controlled by yourself. Thank you very much, Numi. So we'll chat some other time.
Yeah, thank you. And then there was, before you go, there was someone who wanted your contact details. Can I share?
Yeah, I can share, no problem.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Cool.
Thank you. Cool. Thank you, Ngaba.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And then, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That was our presentation for today. Now, what's next? We are doing this inner city for 4 weeks. And the money that, for those that have paid, the money that they paid is for the 4 weeks. It's not just for today. And the reason for that is that I'm into distributing knowledge rather than making money. You can see the kind of information that we get in these sessions. Now, next week we have TAF. And for those that were asking about if there are financial institutions that that one can approach, TAF is one of those financial institutions that one can approach in investing in the inner city. Obviously, they've got their own criteria in terms of how do they invest, but they will be here next week, Saturday, to tell us about their investment criteria. One reason why I also made them to come is that I want you to know where to aim. I want you to sort out your finances, like Naba emphasizes several times, to say this is about you and more than anything else. And then after TAF, we're going to have one of the prominent South Africans who's going to be coming through. At this point, I'm in negotiations with one person who's I hope he's gonna come through. If not, then I will have to find someone else. After that, we have our resident, I call him a resident mentor. I have not spoken to him, but he doesn't mind coming through. For the EDPF students, yeah, this is your mentor. Please make sure that you come. And then what else do I want to say about this one here? I think that's it in terms of what's coming up next. Oh, I wanted to say, for those that said to me they wanted to come through, but they don't have money at this point in time, which was fine with me, but you must know, I'm looking, I know where you cut your hair. I want to go see. One day you will be having breakfast and I will be saying, hey, I want the money. How do you have breakfast if you don't have money to pay for your classes? I'm just joking, but yeah, this is not about money. This is about distributing information. So if you really want to invest, but if you really want to learn, but you've got financial issues at this point in time, please come through. Have a chat with me, then we'll discuss and see how I can accommodate you. Now, there are principles that were shared here, and I think chiefly of them was refinancing. If there are things that you did not really understand and or you want a deeper understanding, book a session with me. I provide coaching sessions. Book a session with me, and the fee there for an hour is only 350. You probably won't get that kind of a fee, but also this is because of I'm into sharing information. Let's see how we can assist you. Book a session with me, 350, then we have a chat about your issue. If you want to discuss something that was mentioned here, but you just want clarity, then give me a call or send me a WhatsApp. Then I will try and answer those that question. If it's not going to take too long, there's no need to book a session. But if you want like deeper understanding of issues, have a chat with me. Let's see how we can assist you. Now, this is when you see this, for those that have been here, when you see this, you know that we're coming to an end. There's a whole lot of information that has shared in this session today, and I hope you assimilated it. My second hope is that you are going to implement it. Because I don't know if you noticed, I took notes. I'm glad you can't see my handwriting. I write like a doctor, but these are my notes for today, 2 pages full of notes. And this is because of Ngaba shared very important principles in terms of how we can move our investment journey forward. That's why I made the notes. So by the end of today, when I review my notes, I will not be the same person. When we meet next Saturday with TAF, I will not be the same person. And I hope you will also not be the same person. Because as they say, no man ever steps in the same river twice. For it's not the same river and he is not the same man. So from me to you, thank you so much for having spent the time with me here on this call and Ngaba. I highly appreciate your time and I hope to see you next Saturday. In the meantime, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you have not joined the group, Facebook group, join it. If you want to join the WhatsApp group, let me have your number. I will send you the link so that you can join the WhatsApp group. Then you make sure that you won't miss any of our advertisement and the information that we share. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Have a great weekend, productive week ahead. Let's meet next Saturday. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks, Dumisa.
Thanks, Ngunyama. Thanks for coming through, my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Spe.
Thank you, Dumisa.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Unzuzo was here. Ntembu.
Thank you, Chief.
You're hiding yourself today. I did not.
My
I saw you
connection is
coming in, but I did not see you in the meeting.
My connection is bad.
Okay. No, ngiyayizwa. Okay, Baba, sharp.
It's very bad.
Sharp,
Okay.
sharp, Baba.
Hey, sharp T. I hope you've learned something at least today.
A lot.
Okay, great.
Sure.
Cheers, guys. I'm ending the call.